Slammer!
Graybar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Now, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Well, hello there. We are live on KMOX Radio, on KMOX.com, on the Odyssey app, on Twitter, on Twitch. What else are we on, Drew? Facebook? YouTube?
YouTube.
Yep, we're everywhere. We're streaming video. We're streaming audio. Let's talk about the Cardinals for a minute. Let me start with this. The St. Louis Cardinals. This is beyond frustrating. I totally know that. It is also, people will tell you it's early, 21 games, but 21 games are 21 games. I mean, they all count in the major leagues, and that's what makes it frustrating is you don't want to, in the end, be in a situation where things are coming down to the wire and you're saying, man, I wish we would have gotten those earlier. That early April and mid-April and then end of April, that whole April was really tough. And this is tough. This is tough to go through. But there are some reasons to believe the Cardinals will turn it around offensively. I do wonder if they will be able to turn it around in terms of their starting rotation or if they need to make some changes there. They do have a pitcher who is working his way back in Adam Wainwright, who could stabilize every fifth day for them. But right now, the biggest problem is the starting pitching, in my view, and I think in most people's views here. You know, they don't have somebody right now who you can say, we're good today. For a second there, it was Jordan Montgomery. He came out flying against the Brewers, and you thought, you know what? Maybe he is going to, well, then he gets hit. Steven Matz had a nice spring, and then, well, he gets it. Miles Michaelis gets the big contract extension, and he's stepping in for Wainwright, and he starts up, and he gets it. Who am I missing? Jack Flaherty starts out, gives up a bunch of walks, but he no-hits them. And then he gives up a bunch of walks again, but his ERA remains low. And this is the guy today that I think everybody is hoping is the one where you can say, okay, he's the guy. We're okay today. Not to put any pressure on Jack, but we are going to find out a lot about him and about the Cardinals today if he can stabilize this thing. The Cardinals' rotation is not going deep enough into games, and that affects the bullpen. Now you have a bullpen that is worn out and is throwing a lot, and what you saw last weekend where you had Andre Palante out unavailable, Zach Thompson out unavailable, you know, all these pitchers were out at the time unavailable, and you had in the 10th inning only left Jordan Hicks and Genesis Cabrera, and you put yourself into some trouble there. It's because the rotation wasn't going deep enough into games, and the bullpen was leaking and throwing a lot. You know, it was all just happening at once, and that also affects the offense, and I'll explain in that. I think the only constant on this team right now is defense. Defense doesn't really slump. If you have a good defense, you have a good defense. And I think aside from a few things here and there, defense by and large has been very, very good. But the offense, as good as it is, and it is, don't make no mistake about it. The Cardinals have one of the best lineups in all of baseball. And they have one of the deepest lineups in all of baseball. They have hitters everywhere. They have players. They just can't play them all every day. And the stats do back this up, that their batting average is up, their hard hit ball percentage is up, they barrel, they hit the sweet spot, they do all of those things, but they're not driving in runs. And that's the only thing that counts in this game is scoring runs to win the game so that you can go on to have another day. And I do think that the shakiness of the pitching does put pressure on the offense to make something happen when the bases are loaded, et cetera, and they're pressing and not coming through. That's my theory. Ollie Marmol may dismiss that here in about 5 minutes when I talk to him. He may say, no, that's not true, but I will bring that up. Does that affect other areas of the club? And I think that it's a matter of time before the offense has its eruption and it's everything that you're hoping it would be. I mean, Paul Goldschmidt is slumping right now. He slumped in August and September, but he still does have a respectable average, and he is still a threat. Nolan Arenado is too. It's just a matter of time before those two get into MVP mode. Paul Goldschmidt could carry this team for a week if he wanted to. I'm going to run some numbers by you. I'm going to run two two players by you. This is Paul Goldschmidt right now. Goldschmidt was 0 for 4 yesterday. He's hitting 280 on the season. He bats third in the order. On occasion, he does bat second, as you saw, and belted a home run. But he has 2 home runs, 9 RBIs, and he's hitting 280 in 75 at bats. Looking deeper at his numbers, he right now has 15 strikeouts in 75 at bats. I'm going to give you another one. This guy has 4 home runs and 9 RBIs. He's hitting 192 on the season, and he has struck out more than he's walked, which is unusual for him. But again, hitting 192 on the season, you would think, well, that guy's not any good. That would be Juan Soto, who is making almost $500 million before it's all said and done in this recent contract. My point is that the great players do eventually rise to the top, and Goldschmidt is the reigning MVP. And once he starts to go and Arenado starts to go at a terrific clip, I do think the rest of it will fall into place. You'll start to see those big runs being driven in those key moments because the Cardinals just have too much firepower on offense to not erupt. But right now it is very hard to watch the team let leads slip away, not cash in early. They let Luis Castillo off the hook in the first inning. When they had him wobbling a little bit, the former Red was able to squeeze his way through it. And the Cardinals ended up losing this game 5-4 on a hit by another former Red, Eugenio Suarez. And he got Giovanni Gallegos on just lack of execution. Contreras wanted a ball up and in. He threw it over the middle, basically. And Suarez knocked it into the outfield for a 2-run single. And that made it a 5-3 game. Edmonds' home run wasn't enough, and it ended up being a 5-4 ball game. Michaelis went 5 1/3. But it took him 93 pitches to do that. 3 runs on 5 hits, walked 2, struck out 4, gave up a couple of home runs. Zach Thompson walked Colton Wong, who hits 094. And he walked him on 4 pitches. Then he gave up a single. Then Gallegos came in, and as I mentioned, didn't execute. Suarez got him, and the rest is history. The Cardinals lost another ball game. Seattle's under 500. They're 10-11. By the way, so are the Padres, who are 10-11. Right now, it is... The Dodgers are 11-11. They beat the Cubs yesterday, who are 12-8. I mean, things are going to start to normalize a little bit. You just don't want to be left standing when the musical chairs game is over. The Cardinals do have to pick it up here and not be left in the dust. They know that. You know that. I know that. It's just a matter of getting the job done right now. We're going to talk in just a minute to Ollie Marmol, the Cardinals manager. We'll talk about these topics and more. Then we'll have Jim Thomas, the retiring writer for the Post-Dispatch, at 10:30. I can't wait to chat with him. We'll have Lutz Pfannenstiel on that draw last night against Colorado. He's at 11:15. John Mozeliak at 11:30. Sports on a Sunday morning, sponsored by Gray Bar, right after this.
For everything online, it's Odyssey.com. Download the Odyssey app and listen to The Dave Glover Show and all the news, talk, sports, and podcasts that move you. Odyssey, that's AUDACY.
Behind every great fortune lies a great crime. But what poisonous secret lies under one of the nation's most prestigious universities? Uncover the crime at the heart of Stanford University and the new true crime series, Bitter Academia.
After a while, Jade Stanford learns that when this much money is at stake, you cannot really trust anyone.
Listen on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
You know the Midwest Money slogan, isn't cash in the bank better than scrap in the drawer? This is Johnny Rabbit. Midwest Money, the oldest coin shop in St. Louis. Buying, selling, and trading since 1971. Silver and gold, coins, sterling silver, flags, medals, daggers, and more. Not sure what you have? Bring your collectibles to someone you can trust. Midwest Money, at the corner of Hampton and Holly Hills. You'll be happy you did.
Gas Appliance Service has just made getting your new gas, charcoal, or pellet grill easier than ever. Gas Appliance Service by Westport and Fireplace and Grill Center in Manchester not only offers an amazing selection of top name brands, they offer you professional installation and stand by their product warranties. Those big box stores don't even compare. Stop by or shop online at gasapplianceservice.net. Just click for your estimate and get grilling at gasapplianceservice.net.
Scott, why should you never trust stairs?
I don't know. Why?
Because they're always up to something.
Very funny. And why not let contractors know that for that set of steps or the rest of the house, we have carpet, luxury vinyl, ceramic tile, carpet tile, laminate, and sheet vinyl all in stock at low, low prices.
2 locations, 7301 North Lindbergh in Hazelwood, Missouri, and 1851 West US Highway 50 in O'Fallon, Illinois. Open 7 days a week.
Best flooring, best selection, Best Buy Flooring.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Pelicans win! Pelicans win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Welcome back to the show. I should have mentioned when I was going through the records in the National League that I mentioned the Dodgers and the Padres. Another team a lot of people liked coming out of the offseason, the Phillies. They're 2 games under 500 at 10-12. They were in the World Series last year. This is the big one, though. The Pirates are 15-7. They are flying right now. My point is, over 162 games, let's see how things begin to normalize and change through the ebbs and flows of a season. But right now we're bringing in the Cardinals manager, Oliver Marmol, and we say good morning to you. I know all you're concerned about is 8-13. That's the Cardinals record and how to fix that. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you, Tom?
Doing well. Yeah, it's, the baseball season, all of these games I know matter so much to you, and you want to get things turned around as soon as possible. It is a process. Let's just take a look at how things have gone so far.
Yeah, obviously you want to turn it around, and we will. This is not the way we wanted to start. I feel like we've said that enough, but the reality is there's a lot of belief in this group, and we're going to figure out a way out of it.
And the way to do that is so many different things. It's about staying with the routine, but also trying to adjust here and there. You got a number of individuals that you're working with, both on the pitching side and the offensive side. Let's just start with pitching and what you saw yesterday. Miles Michaelis is in there, and then just things got away in the middle of the game. What happened there?
Yeah, he was cruising. The guy was doing a nice job mixing all his pitches. He looked really good. The curveball was a big player for him. Got some swing and miss on that. Stole a lot of strikes with it. And then Hernandez got him. That was the last hitter he was going to face before going left on left. Thompson there right after. But unfortunately, the timing of that homer wasn't great.
No, and you could see the frustration on Miles' face. I think he knew that was going to be just about it for him. 93 pitches, and that ball just gets over the fence. It's a home run. Then Zach Thompson walks Colton Wong. I bet he'd like to have that back as he gives up a hit after that. What happened with Giovanni Gallegos facing Eugenio Suarez later in that game?
Yeah, was trying to get a fastball up and in, didn't get it up enough, and Suarez got to it.
And Suarez did take it out for a 2-run single, and the Mariners went up 5-3 at that point. They win the game 5-4. Just overall, you look at this starting rotation. I brought this up in the last segment, so you correct me if I'm wrong, but it really begins with the rotation. If they're going deeper into games, it takes a little wear off of the bullpen. Let's start there. Just how has the bullpen been over this 21-game period, and is that accurate?
The bullpen has been very good. If you look at what the guys are doing, we're on the ground a ton. We're missing bats at a really high rate, and the guys are staying healthy. They feel good about where they're at as far as usage goes. The reality is our starters are going their average in the league as far as going deeper in games. So it's just that's more trying to cross the league as a whole. Our starters aren't. It's not that they're not going deep enough. That is not the problem.
Got it. They just, when it comes to being able to execute. I mean, everybody wants to post zeros, but just getting to that point where you can feel good about on offense. I just wonder if I'm just trying to come up with why the offense hasn't been able to cash in. Is it just something that's happening? Is it bad luck, or does that have something to do with it also? Do you think that the offense presses a little bit to make something happen to overcome any deficits on the pitching side?
No, and that's a good question. And here's the reality of all of it. This group cares so much about winning, and to the point where it's all these guys want. And the thing that will get this group is them wanting it too bad. And the offense at times will press based on, man, we feel like we need to score more runs, but that's just part of the game and the way this goes. There's going to be times throughout the season where our starting rotation is going to throw up a ton of zeros. So where we are today, yeah, that's just where we are today. But really good meeting with our group yesterday. We feel like we're going to get back on track, and unfortunately, we weren't able to last night.
Because looking at you see the numbers even deeper than I do. And when I take a deep dive into the offensive numbers, obviously runs are what you want, so you can walk away with more victories. But the hard hit balls, the barrel of the ball, the exit velocity, these things are real, and you are batting average even. I mean, you're up there in the upper levels of Major League Baseball right now, just not able to get, like, eventually it's going to happen. I mean, eventually those runs are going to cross.
And this is first month of the season again, but what you're looking at is this is sustainable from you keep swinging the bat the way we're swinging the bat. We're hitting the ball harder than anybody in the league. If you're doing the things we're doing as a club offensively, over time it plays, and that hasn't been the case because we've gotten a lot of runners on, haven't thrown them in. But I'd rather be doing that than not getting anybody on, because you can't drive anybody in anyways.
That's
so
right.
on the pitching side, if you really start diving into the numbers, it's not sustainable. Like, we have one of the highest BABIPs that the league has seen in the month of April in a very long time. And that'll correct itself. One, that'll correct itself, and two, we'll execute better. And the combination of those two things will give us a lot more success. But yeah, we're seeing a combination of things all happening at once that are leading to more losses than wins. But we're taking it personal. And if people want to doubt us, I welcome that.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of the baseball chatter. Everybody has an opinion about the club, that, and right now, right now it is what it is. 8-13. Looking at that pitching, also, you mentioned the BABIP. I should have this number in front of me, but I don't. But just my eye tells me that it's typically a ground ball pitching staff, and I'm not seeing as many. Is that right? Are the balls getting elevated? Are you getting more fly balls and line drives than usual?
No.
Okay.
That's not accurate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Again, I should have the numbers in front of me. So, but that was just kind of like my eye. Maybe I'm just running away with it. But it's a pitching staff that can get soft contact, get those ground balls. That's really what you're aiming for mostly. I mean, your defense has been just fine, hasn't it?
Yeah. Our defense has been fine. Our ground ball rate is fine. We lead the league in soft contact, actually falling in for hits. And that's not what you want to lead the league in, but that's also something you can't control. That just corrects itself over time. So is it an excuse? No, it's just reality of ball and play info.
Sure. Absolutely. Jack Flaherty, on that note, gets going today for you. A great opportunity for him. I know, loves these situations, being able to get his team into a position to win a big ball game. Just what have you seen from Jack over this season so far?
Jack's going to continue to get better and better. This is a guy that's extremely determined and understands what's at stake for the club to get us back on track. And if there's somebody that'll shoulder that and welcome and embrace that, Jack is one of those. So we're definitely looking forward to seeing him. And just on the ground ball rate to go back to, so that just pulled it up, we're tied for first.
Okay, good. Yeah. And like I said, I just thought of it as I was talking to you. So I wanted you have the numbers faster than I do. I don't know why I felt that way, but it looked that way. But there you go. You just back it up. First place, tied for first in terms of ground ball rate. That's what you want. going back to Jack and moving forward, you've got a game tomorrow in San Francisco against the Giants, Jordan Montgomery. Looking at him heading into tomorrow night, just to play ahead a little bit. How has he been through the first few? He had that great first start. What have you seen from him?
Yeah, the sinker's a real player, and how he combats it with keeping guys honest with the four-seamer has been really, really good. He's landing his other stuff, and we're continuing to see him grow in confidence and just he's getting more and more comfortable being here. And this is a guy that plays a big part in who he is and how he performs, and it's been good. But when you look at his overall usage, it's leading to some success, and we're excited about what he's going to do moving forward.
You've had Alec Burleson playing in that number 2 spot quite a bit in your order. He was the DH yesterday. He was 2 for 4 yesterday. Alec has settled into a nice spot on this big league club, hasn't he? I mean, we saw last year that he had tried to adjust to the big leagues, noticeable after a phenomenal minor league season. Alec has really looked to more like a big leaguer here in this part of the year.
So this is actually a really good example. Alec Burleson, people would say when he came up here, struggled and had to make some adjustments, and now he's having a good year. The reality is, if you look at the underlying numbers of what he did compared to expected, so you look at his batted ball info, similar to what we're talking about with our offense at the moment, or on the other side of it, on the pitching side. Alec hit the ball very similar to how he's hitting the ball right now from an overall performance standpoint. The results sucked, but what he was doing and what he was in control of looked pretty similar to what we're seeing right now. And there was the biggest gap of his actual numbers compared to the balls he put in play that just happened to get caught when, for the most part, they don't. So that's a perfect example of, like, over time. Yeah, Alec Burleson is very similar hitter today than he was when he first came up, and his numbers or overall results didn't look like it. But you play it out over time, and now we're seeing and we like it. So, he's a good hitter.
That's really interesting. That really is. I appreciate that. And then you're 3 and 4 in the order. We know who they are and what they're capable of doing, so we can skip over them. Wilson Contreras over this last week has started to show, not more than started. He has shown signs of his former self. You and I touched on this on Wednesday when we talked on Total Information AM. He is back to being the Wilson Contreras that was a pain in the neck.
Yeah, and the guy that we didn't like to cross the way, just because he plays with emotion. He's aggressive, and he's starting to settle in. Anytime you see him starting to hit the ball through the middle of the field, lifts the ball to right field. We saw that plenty across the way when he was in Chicago, and he's back to doing that and taking really, really good at bats. He's the guy that hits the ball extremely hard, and he's a real threat. So
he mentioned to Derek Gould late, and just a couple of quick things. I'm going to close with Wilson, with Oliver Marmol. Really appreciate this. He mentioned to Derek Gould late Friday night, we need to pitch mean. How do you see that? How do you translate that?
I think there's a lot of contributors to success on the pitching side. And the way I took that is more of just overall conviction and determination behind every pitch that's thrown more than anything. This is a guy, like I said, he plays off of emotions, and it's what's helped them have success at the big league level for quite some time.
Derek also had the note, I think he was first with it last night, that it looked like Paul DeJong was going to make his way to the club. Can you confirm that?
Paul DeJong is joining us today, and we look forward to that.
We'll look forward to seeing Paulie D back in a Cardinals uniform and contributing to you. We appreciate this very much. Thank you for doing this. I know it's early out on the West Coast. Best of luck today against the Mariners.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Manager of the Cardinals, Oliver Marmol. We'll take a break. When we come back, Jim Thomas of the Post-Dispatch will be with us. I can't wait to catch up with JT. This is Sports on a Sunday Morning, sponsored by Gray Bar on KMOX.
KMOX Enter Service Weekend, sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation.
Your garage door is always there for you, rain or shine. Are you taking your garage door for granted? Is it screeching and whining for attention? Trust Overhead Door Company of St. Louis to keep your garage door reliable. Maybe the old weather stripping needs replaced to keep out the cold and hot air. Call Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, trusted here since 1926. For same-day service, call 314-781-5200 and schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
We've all seen the obvious dangers, the sight of countless injuries, but nothing is done about it. Whether it's the light that's out, an uneven sidewalk, or that set of stairs that just isn't safe. At Under Law, we strive not only to get you the money you deserve, but to make sure things change so no one else is hurt. I'm Jim Onder. At Under Law, we'll make your case our cause.
Call Onder Law Personal Injury Lawyers at 314 or 6189 million. That's 9 all zeros.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing, together millions of things for our planet. Earth Day has passed, but you don't need a holiday to make an impact. Make the switch to eco-friendly cleaning products, or make your own from ingredients like Castile soap and vinegar. Spend more time outside instead of watching TV and using electricity, and walk or bike to close destinations. That way, both you and the Earth can celebrate. When we each share our one thing, it becomes 100 things, 1,000 things, 1,000,000 things for our planet. What's your one thing?
Can you imagine a rainbow of flowers?
In a crystal blue sky.
Filled with music.
And all your friends are there.
And everyone is laughing with joy.
And the whole world is clean and sparkling and singing like Pavarotti.
Put on your wings and fly.
Invite us to your house.
We'll only be there a few minutes.
Our clean and shiny trucks haul away your distractions.
And leave your home sparkling with joy.
All you have to do is point.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
This is the start where the early birds start getting their prices for air conditioners. If you're that person that is looking now to get prices and you are calling around, please, I'm asking you to please call me. Here's what I have to offer. It's going to be simple. It's going to be straightforward. It's common sense language. And I won't give you a science lesson on what works for you and works for your house and works for your budget, which will lead you to savings of thousands of dollars. So if you want straight shot, get your prices, talk to people, call me first, call me last. Bart Inman at 314-293-2600. Again, it's Bart Inman, 314-293-2600, or the internet thing. It is, you got to get the spelling right. So it's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. Can I add this? Do we get enough time to add this? Save it in your phone under A, air conditioning. It works. My customers say it does work. God bless.
Charlie did not die from an overdose. Charlie was poisoned.
Websites and social media selling fake medicines may look legitimate, but they're not.
He died in less than 15 minutes after taking the pill.
Any medication not purchased from a licensed pharmacy could be deadly.
No other family should go through this. It's just horrific.
Go to safe.pharmacy. Learn about fake medicine on social media and if an online pharmacy is safe.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Well, I thought Ollie Marmol was good under the circumstances, to be honest with you. It's early in the morning, although he's getting some of that Seattle coffee in him. And going through the numbers, he was, I thought, really good. They're 8-13. This team's 5 games under. They are struggling. Ollie answered all of our questions. It was not pulling teeth. I thought it was, I mean, Jim Thomas is going to join us here in a second from the Post-Dispatch. And I know, JT, that you have been down this road numerous times. How are you, Pally, first of all?
Aki, and I do mean Aki. I'm doing great. Great to be on the sports for Sunday morning, the hallowed grounds of radio. So, as Rich Daly used to say, if I was doing any better, I couldn't stand it.
That's right. You covered Rich Daly and others at the University of Missouri in your long career. Congratulations. I mean, what a run this has been for you. Selfishly, I wish you could do more because with all respect to all my buddies over there at the Post-Dispatch, your game stories to me are fun. I like the way that you write and kind of like it's like you're talking just to me. You'll have these little side comments, and then you'll go back to the to the game at hand. You know what I'm talking about. I've always enjoyed your writing, JT.
Well, I've always tried to keep it fun. I mean, there's a time to write maybe serious prose, but at the end of the day, it's still a game. And I've always tried to humanize the players, and I have a kind of a conversational style writing. So I really appreciate that, Tom. And you and I go way back. I mean, you were such a youngster. Have you hit 30 years old yet? Or how old are you now, my friend?
I'll be 48 this summer. And when you and I started,
all right.
I know, I was covering the Rams in the late 90s when I first started at KMOX in 97, covering Tony Banks and his dog Felony and, all that stuff with Dick Vermeil. So I was 22 when I first walked around that locker room. Here I am Here I am 25 plus years later. Let me ask you, because it got to be amazing what we all went through. The Rams going to the Super Bowl 2 times in 3 years. You also covered the Stanley Cup with the Blues. But let me ask you about those tough times. I just mentioned that Ollie Marmol, we did an interview. We just went 15 minutes. I thought he was good. It's not easy for him or me going through a situation like that. How did you handle the losing and talking to a head coach during tough times?
Well, you have to ask the right questions, and you do the same thing. You ask the questions that need to be asked, but you don't have to call names to do it, well, why the hell does your bullpen suck or whatever? There's a way to ask questions and get the answer. So you always try to be fair but honest. And, you try to look at the long picture. I mean, even with the Cardinals, I know fans and media are deeply disappointed in the start, and I know some will laugh when I say this, but it's what they played 22 games now out of 162. There's a long way to go, but it's tough. It's not as much fun going into the locker room of a losing team, but it's part of the job. And my gosh, some of those stretches you remember the last years of the Rams, the final 10 years, not one winning season. There were a couple of 8 and 8s in there, but not one winning season. And that stretch from 2007 through 2011, Tom, they went 15 and 65. So that's an average record of 3-13. The team you're covering is usually out of it before the first frost hits in football. But you just got to do your job and cover the team and make the most of it. It's not the most fun thing. I can remember, Aki, you may remember this. You remember the tight end Cam Cleveland that they had? He was only there for a season or two. This is like 3 weeks to go in the season. It's not like the last week, and we walk in there for the open locker room, and he's in there. He's swinging a golf club in there, so in the locker room. So maybe his mind isn't totally on the season, and that's kind of what you deal with sometimes.
No. Totally. And you have those observations. That's the thing. When you have the access that we have, you do pay attention. There's a lot that goes on besides what they just say in front of a PR person. And you can read a lot of language when you're around there. Jeff Fisher, and before that, Steve Spagnuolo, and there have been a number of coaches here. The Scott Linehan year, that 2006 year was the one year that I went to every game, home and away, traveling. And it was just such a blah. There was not much with it. I think it was 2006, and they were
his first season. Yeah, correct.
Yeah. They were 8 and 8, and just kind of like they were okay, nothing. And I think that's just because we witnessed a mixture of a rock concert and a full-scale drama and everything else in those 6 years from 99 to 2005. It was insane. I mean, it was just crazy.
Yeah, and even maybe the years that were less successful, there was always some drama going on, and just the characters too were so colorful. We all in our business, Tom, we all love, and I think you'll agree, covering characters, and from John Shaw to Charlie Army to Dick Vermeil to Mike Martz, they were all characters. They had personality plus, and that made it even more entertaining. And those were special years. My gosh, they just put the league on its head. They've kind of redefined what the league is now in terms of the passing game. And those things are kind of generational. I mean, you go back, maybe you had Don Coryell do it with the Chargers after he left the Cardinals in terms of the passing game. And, Mike Martz would throw it anywhere, anytime. And God bless Dick Vermeil. He gave him the freedom to do that. And I remember the first playoff game, the first home playoff game in St. Louis professional football history against Minnesota. And kind of the narrative from the national media was, these guys aren't going to go all the way. You've got to be able to run the ball. You can't be passing it this much. And now the Vikings got some cosmetic points there at the end. It was 49-17 Rams midway through the fourth quarter in that game. So yeah, I think you can win football games without worrying too much about the run. And last stat on that, you remember the Super Bowl victory, Marshall Faulk had only 29 yards rushing. So anyway, Mike Martz revolutionized the passing game again with the blessing and guidance of Dick Vermeil. And I think both Martz and Vermeil used the phrase, it's a special place in time. And it was. And then for me personally, and for St. Louis sports fans and media, 20 years later, to have this miracle on ice of, 1980 Olympic team for using your phrase there, but to have a team be in last place in the beginning of the year and end up winning the cup, or the first cup in 50 years. I remember how strange things with Bennington arriving on the scene. They had a Pat Maroon bobblehead day in like mid-January. And the joke, kind of the running joke in the press box, because Maroon was playing so poorly, was that would he still be with the team in time for the bobblehead night, or would they just have to send those 10,000 bobbleheads or whatever it was back to the factory? Well, look what happened to him. He ended up scoring maybe the greatest goal in St. Louis hockey history to get them past Dallas in double overtime. So kind of lightning striking twice there. For me personally, but for everyone that's a sports fan in St. Louis.
Oh, it's so well said. Maroon, people forget that it was going so bad that there were rumblings of the Blues are just this is a failed project. They're going to get rid of him. They're going to trade him. He's not happy, blah, blah, blah. And then it starts to turn. Did you think about your time with the Rams in that run when things started to turn, Jim?
Oh, for sure. And I can remember the media day for the Stanley Cup in Boston before game one. And I had written a story kind of comparing Bennington to the hockey version of Kurt Warner in terms of a guy coming totally out of nowhere to lead a team to a championship. Of course, the Blues hadn't won the championship yet. Again, it was before the Stanley Cup final began. So I called Kurt Warner, and he plays along, doesn't have a whole lot of knowledge of what was happening with it. He plays along. I explained the Warner situation and there's 100 reporters crammed around him to Bennington at the media day. And typical Bennington style, he says, well, I'm telling you about Warner now. It came out of nowhere, yada, yada. And now when I'm done, Bennington, he gives you one of those Bennington looks, and you know what I mean by that. And he says, well, sounds like a good story, but never heard of the guy.
You guys had a fun relationship. You still do, in that, you were the one who asked him the question where he looked at you and said, do I look nervous? Yeah. And it really kind of,
I became kind of the dating myself, the straight man for him. I was like the Dean Martin, and he was Jerry Lewis. It's for some reason, and it was totally accidental. At least most of the times, I would set it up on the tee, and he would say something, say something strange. Like, remember the Who's Montgomery line? That was another good one when he had one of his tantrums in the Dallas series, and I'd gotten some penalties, and Montgomery after the game said, someone asked him about it. He said, yeah, he's a good goalie, but he needs to, learn to control his emotions. So the next day I asked Bennington about it, and again, typical that Bennington looked at deadpan, and he said, "Who's Montgomery?" Like he didn't know who Jim Montgomery was. So he had a lot of those moments, and the thing we were talking about it the day they presented me with the jersey, which just floored me, just blew me away. I was I was fighting back the tears when they did that. But I was sitting with Bennington before that, and I told him, I said, we never knew what to expect from you when we interviewed you. That's what made you fun. And I also said I'll put him in my top 5 of all-time players to deal with. Obviously, Isaac Bruce and Kurt Warner are probably 1 and 2 or 2 and 1, but Bennington's definitely in the top 5. What a character!
What would young Jim Thomas think about this career that you've had, going back to your days growing up in South St. Louis?
Well, I wouldn't have believed it, for one, and to some of the changes in my career from Mizzou to the NFL to the NHL. It's like one door closed and another one opened, and the adventures were just all great. In 48 years, it's gone by so fast. I'll be 69 in June, and I just figured it was time, just kind of my instinct. I've talked about, Mike March and I have talked about doing a book. Hopefully we can do that. I've got another kind of book nibble, so maybe I'll keep busy doing that. My wife's a dog groomer, Aki, so and she's very popular, and she's done so much for me during my career in terms of even driving halfway to Columbia because I forgot my computer, just all kinds of things. So one day a week, I'm going to wash dogs for help her out. How about that? From sports writer to dog watcher.
I love it. I'll bring Joey and Bear over, and then, I'll help you, and then we can just
there you
sit
go.
there. And...
Hey, I guarantee you, they'll come out looking good.
In the meantime, you still have a byline in the Post-Dispatch in this morning's paper. After dramatic downfall, Blues face key offseason. So I'm going to put you back to work here for our final thing and just get your thoughts on this. The sub headline that says 2023 team stumbled 28 points below the 109-point showing in the 21-22 regular season. There's no other way around it. It was a huge disappointment. How do you think they pick it back up?
Well, it's not. I don't think it's going to be overnight. They still have cap issues for next year, so it's not like they can go wild in free agency. Now, after this coming year, after 23-24, the cap will start to ease. A lot of people blame Doug Armstrong, the GM, for this, but no one could have anticipated COVID, and that led to a flat cap for basically 3 years in a row because of the lost revenues. And so they just couldn't do a lot of things. And a lot of clubs facing the same thing. Washington, at one point, I think they may have jettisoned a couple players. Just for example, they have 11 unrestricted free agents heading into this offseason. And you notice Washington, Pittsburgh, and St. Louis, they all missed the playoffs. The first time that's happened in forever. But the Blues do have some young prospects. They're still playing the Quebec League playoffs. The two gems of their system, Zachary Bolduc and Zach Dean. They got him in the Ivan Barbashev trade. Jimmy Snuggerud's going back to Minnesota for just one more year. Then I think he'll join the Blues. But they have some good young prospects, and they have a lot of draft picks. And if anyone can make it happen quick, it'll be Doug Armstrong. So they're not going to be a powerhouse next year. Can they compete for the playoffs? Certainly. But I don't think it's going to be a long drought. It's not going to be, Buffalo Sabres missed for the 12th year in a row. I think it's tied for the second longest drought in any of the major four sports here in North America. I don't think we're going to see anything like that. So it'll be an interesting season next year with all the young guys. But it may not be a year where you look back and count up all the wins and everything. But I think they'll be an entertaining team.
That is Blues beat writer from the Post-Dispatch, Jim Thomas. Before that, the Rams, Mizzou, Preps, and everything in between. What a 48-year career it's been. And I could go on and on about what you've meant to me, but you taught me how to be a professional and how to cover a team the right way and really get after it. And I appreciate all your hard work and trust over your career, JT.
Well, thank you so much. It's an honor to be on the show. I'm very flattered by your comments. And when all is said and done with you, you're gonna be right up there in the Mount Rushmore of KMOX sports personalities. But you got a lot of years left in you, man. You're going to be going for a while. So keep up the great work.
I appreciate that, buddy. Thank you. Yeah, I got a long ways to go, and I look forward to it all. Thank you, and have a great day.
You too. Take care.
There he is, Jim Thomas. Boy, great to catch up with him again. We had some fun over the years. We're going to take a quick break, and we will come back with Roman Berkey and get his thoughts on what happened last night at Colorado.
Hi, Kent Newbold for Newbold Toyota. Your car is worth more than ever before, so why trust the amateurs for your servicing? Come see the factory-trained experts at Newbold Toyota in O'Fallon, Illinois, or newboldtoyota.com. You'll be sold on Newbold.
If you're thinking about selling your St. Louis area home, you might be a bit overwhelmed by the process, especially in this market. Take it from me, Debbie Monterey. I strongly recommend that you call and spend 5 minutes getting to know Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Gloria understands that you have questions and that selling your home can be stressful. Gloria has mastered the home selling process with her Guaranteed Sold program. It simply states Gloria will sell your home at your agreed to price and time frame, or Gloria will buy it. So what's Gloria's secret? Gloria already has the buyers. Fact is, your home may already be sold. Let Gloria show you how she nets her sellers more money and how she sells faster on average. Need more proof? Check out Gloria's 5-star reviews and get moving. Call Gloria Liu today at 314-325-6888, 314-325-6888, or online at gloriahasthebuyers.com. Conditions apply. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
What a beautiful spring. Hi, I'm Tim Gamma from Gamma Tree Experts. Your property value is as much about your landscape as it is your home. The trees and shrubs that grow along with you and your family are valuable assets that deserve care and protection. Call our team of certified arborists to inspect your valuable trees and shrubs today. Knowledge and quality are hallmarks of our reputation. For pruning, fertilization, or removal, call today at 725-6159 or visit us at gammatree.com. Your trees deserve the best care.
Updating your home with James Hardie Siding has never been more popular. With all the options available, you need a partner to maximize your investment. The rising prices on vinyl siding has made Hardie Siding a great alternative. Siding Express is ready to refresh the appearance of your home or totally transform the look by installing Hardie Shake, board and batten, lap siding, or a stone accent to make it your dream home again. Siding Express is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor. Need ideas? Go to sidingexpress.com and schedule a free, no-obligation consultation today.
Broadcasting from the Underlaw Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Welcome back to the show. St. Louis City SC playing last night against Colorado.
Back to the top of the box, and Colorado shot, and Roman Berkey, an incredible diving save once again to the far post. Holy moly, Roman Berkey! What a performance tonight.
He has been amazing. 12 saves last night, 3 off the MLS record, but he was not pleased after the goal that was scored on him and really not happy after that save with his defense, with his team, with everything that happened. Let's take a listen. This is Tom Timmerman of the Post-Dispatch.
Roman, what does this result feel like? You have a game like that and 12 saves. They seem to be coming at you all night, and to get a tie, but you almost got a win. So how does this one feel?
Yeah, me personally, I always want to win. I feel empty, a little bit disappointed, because I think this team is not as good as we made them, Colorado. I think we missed a lot today when it comes with the ball and against the ball. And I mean, if you're up 1-0, you just have to fight for the win. You know, you have to go all in and you have to fight, you have to defend. And today, not everybody was defending or not together. And that's the result. And that's why I'm a little bit disappointed.
Next, we'll go to Justin Horniker.
Roman, when the first half is kind of slanting your direction and you're making all those saves, do you get in kind of a rhythm with everything coming at you, or is it more about get your feet set and try to get everyone settled?
Yeah, of course, it gives me a rhythm and a good feeling when I can save the balls, of course. But I mean, I I rather have nothing to do and we win the games. That's way more. What I would like. But I mean, I tried my best today. Like always, I gave everything, and like I said, it's just a little bit disappointed that it wasn't enough for a win.
We'll go back to Tom.
It looked like there were several occasions in which, after making saves, that you were like saying things to the defense. What was the problem that they kept making runs behind you there and behind the defense there and creating chances?
Yeah, so we didn't defend good in the first half, and we went into the halftime with a 0-0, a little bit lucky, and then in the second half we changed something, but not really big things. So I mean, it's just like I tried to tell them, like, come on, guys. We try our best in the back four, we tried our best. We tried to defend and everything. And it's just, you need to, I think it was like a little bit, some guys on the field were just like, oh, the back line is going to take care of it anyways, so a little bit like not just not enough. I mean, I know we have 1 point, but for me, it loses, it feels like a loss. And that's why I'm a little bit, emotional.
Berkey calling his team out. We'll have the news next, then more of the show.
The best donuts in Missouri in 2023 can be had 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at Old Town Donuts. For more than 3 decades, get a dozen for less than $10 with a coupon from the Old Town Donuts Facebook page in Florissant and Cottleville.
I feel like I should call him.
Why would you call him now? Everything's working beautifully.
Jerry Kelly is St. Louis's favorite heating and cooling company. Mine too. They make me happy and comfortable every day. That deserves a phone call once in a while.
Jerry Kelly's your favorite because they're fast.
They're my favorite because they got it going on.
Nope. They're our favorite because they're good. Since they fixed it, it has stayed fixed.
I still feel like I should call.
Why don't you just visit JerryKelly.com?
It's always a little scary when there's a power outage, right? Well, avoid that by calling Reinhold Electric to install an inline generator to your home or business or your vacation home. They do it all the time, and they work all over the state of Missouri and Southern Illinois. They can get you hooked up with an inline generator to your place so you don't go without power. EV charging stations, it's a hot item, and a lot of people are calling Reinhold Electric to get them installed. Call today, 314-631-1158, online, reinholdelectric.com. Tell them Bo sent you to Reinhold Electric.
Diamonds Direct's biggest sale all year is going on now with an extra 20% savings, an expanded selection, in-store designer appearances, and special financing. Imagine 20% off Diamonds Direct's already value prices on rings, earrings, bracelets, bands, colored gemstone jewelry, and thousands of engagement ring mounting. Meet the designers who've flown in with all new collections for spring. It's the most exciting event all year with extreme savings and exceptional value. Don't miss this once-a-year jewelry extravaganza. Details, showroom hours, directions, and more at diamondsdirect.com.
One of the great things about little boys and little girls is when they grow up, they want to be just like you. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. So to moms and dads, aunts and uncles, and grandparents everywhere, remember this. The next time you get in the car and don't buckle your seatbelt, a little boy is watching. And when you decide to text or dial and talk while driving, a little girl is watching your every move. And when you head down the road with a beer or cocktail in the car, that little person next to you is taking it all in. In this life, you have an awesome responsibility to those children who love you the most and want to be you in every way. So make a pledge today to be a good role model to these kids and their friends so that that little boy and that little girl get to grow up and be just like you. Morgan & Morgan, for our children.
Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Hello Garage elevates your garage, adding additional entertainment space for graduation parties or other summer get-togethers you have planned. In as little as 48 hours, get organized and start planning that party. Visit them online at hellogarage.com.
KMOX, KECK HD2, K254CR, St. Louis.
This is CBS News on the Hour, presented by Indeed.com.
I'm Linda Kenyon in Washington. U.S. Special Forces have safely evacuated U.S. Embassy personnel from Sudan as warring military generals there battle for control. The BBC's Mercy Juma reports some French diplomats were not as fortunate.
We have seen reports from Twitter accounts that are affiliated to both the Sudanese army and the Rapid Support Forces claiming that while this evacuation was being done, the convoy was shorted.
The Supreme Court will continue to allow access for now to an abortion drug while the legal battle continues. CBS's Christian Benavides has the latest.
Next month, a federal appeals court is set to hear arguments in the legal battle over the abortion pill mifepristone. Late Friday, the Supreme Court halted temporary restrictions on access to the drug while the battle plays out in the lower courts.
The Fifth Circuit will review the case on its merits in a few weeks, and they will issue an opinion.
The case, which could make its way back to the Supreme Court, began in Texas. The litigation seeks to reverse the FDA's approval of the drug more than 2 decades ago.
Campaigning for the GOP presidential nomination at an event in Iowa. CBS's Bradley Blackburn has the story.
Former Vice President Mike Pence says he will finalize his plans within weeks, but former Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson will announce his campaign Wednesday.
Our best opportunity is to have a new face, someone with consistent conservative leadership.
The lies of the left have been disproven by my life.
South Carolina Senator Tim Scott is also expected to enter the race, and so is Florida Governor Ron DeSantis.
Environmental events and demonstrations marked Earth Day yesterday.
I'm Tom Foti. Earth Day is now more than 50 years old and was observed with environment-related demonstrations from one coast to the other and overseas as well.
Ain't no power like the power of the people, because the power...
That in Washington, D.C. In New York City, Mayor Eric Adams celebrated Earth Day by planting a tree and said his administration takes environmental concerns into account on policy.
Looking at things that are doable, executable, and accountable to the people of this city.
A Japanese ship sunk by a U.S. submarine during World War II has been found off the coast of the Philippines.
The Montevideo Maru was carrying more than 1,000 prisoners of war, most of them Australians, when it was torpedoed in July of 1942. None of the POWs survived. The ship wasn't marked as carrying prisoners. The wreck was found at a depth of 13,000 feet, deeper than even the Titanic's watery grave.
That's CBS's Adriana Diaz. And this is CBS News.
Streamline how you hire with Indeed. Their powerful hiring platform makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates all in the same place. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Awarded 2023 Large Market Radio Station of the Year by the Missouri Broadcasters Association, KMOX.
At 11:03, we have increasing clouds and 48 degrees downtown at the Arch. Good morning. I'm Scott Jagow. Our top story, as heard on CBS News, Special Operations Forces carried out a Saturday night evacuation of the U.S. Embassy in Sudan. Fighting between two rival commanders in the African nation has passed the 1-week mark. Here's KMOX political analyst Michael Kelly.
Quite a chaotic situation, and we've got to be worried about the folks inside the embassy and try to keep them as safe as possible.
And John Hancock.
We do have to keep an eye because Africa is so unstable and there are so many regimes there that are under so much internal stress. So you hope something like this doesn't spread. I wouldn't expect it to.
Hancock and Kelly shared their thoughts, as always, at 7:20 on Sunday morning. A Saturday night apartment fire in Soulard has claimed one life.
St. Louis firefighters were called to the 1800 block of South 9th just after 9 and found a man dead in the kitchen area of the 2-story brick structure. It appears the fire started in that kitchen area of the first-floor apartment. The regional bomb and arson squads assisting with the investigation, which is standard procedure when a death is involved. Brad Choate, KMOX News.
Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker is touting the advances his state is making in improving behavioral and mental health care. He says an easy-to-use portal is being created for families,
so that they can learn about the resources that are available to them and be matched with what best meets the needs of their family members, so that they don't need to call multiple agencies, get the runaround before they can figure out where to get help.
Pritzker spoke last night at the Haymarket Center Gala in Chicago. The general consensus from the medical community, we are going to be living with COVID from here on out.
St. Louis City Health Director and infectious disease physician Madi Hatchwayo Davis talked with CBS about the new variant out of India called Arcturus.
Is one that we are watching, but not yet designated as a variant of concern, meaning we do not have it causing predominant disease as of yet, but the CDC and the federal government doing the right thing and letting us know we're keeping our eyes on this one.
Hachwayo Davis says the most vulnerable people, the elderly, and those who are immunocompromised should receive the new booster. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
There is a freeze warning for parts of the region from tonight until tomorrow morning. Temperatures today about 57, but then overnight areas of frost, temperatures in the mid-30s to below freezing in some spots. Sun then turning cloudy tomorrow with a high of 64, and we're looking at mid-60s for the early part of the week. Right now it is 48 degrees in St. Peters, 50 in Florissant, 48 downtown. I'm Scott Jagow, KMOX News.
This is the Greenheart Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Greenheart, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Now, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
All right, thanks very much. Let's get right back out to Seattle and see what's going on out there as the Cardinals are taking on the Seattle Mariners this afternoon and try to salvage a game in this series. Here we go again with the Cardinals in jeopardy of being swept, but can they get it going today? Let's start things off with our broadcasters on what happened last night.
With Ricky Horton, I'm John Rooney, and last night at T-Mobile Park, the Cardinals had a 3-1 lead, but Teoscar Hernandez chased Miles Michaelis with a game-tying 2-run homer, and then it was a single with 2 outs by Eugenio Suarez that drove in 2, proved to be the difference in a 5-4 victory.
So Zach Thompson picks up the loss in relief. He's been so good for the Cardinals, but Cardinals found, unfortunately, another way to lose. Tommy Edman hit a home run in the 9th inning to make it a 1-run game. Alec Burleson with 2 outs in the 9th sent the ball back to the warning track in center field, but the Cardinals rally fell short.
Now the Cardinals are trying to get at least one win in Seattle behind Jack Flaherty this afternoon.
Jack has been good, especially the last time out. We saw Jack. I just think he's just about ready to be the Jack Flaherty of old. Cardinals need him to be today.
The Cardinals have Flaherty going up against Chris Flexen. We're on the air with our pregame show at 2:15. At 3 o'clock, Ricky will have the lineups, and I'll bring you the first pitch around 3:10. Last night, Seattle beat the Cardinals 5-4.
John and Ricky, thanks very much. We heard from Oliver Marmol, the Cardinals manager, live on this show last hour. Let's hear from Miles Michaelis for the first time. This is Michaelis last night on Bally Sports Midwest.
I thought I was throwing the ball pretty well up until my last pitch.
How much does that at bat frustrate you? 3-2. You fell behind in the count. You got back in the count.
Yeah, I think it was really frustrating to me just to go 3-0 on them right there, and then get some generous calls from the umpires to get back to 3-2, and then have him foul off a good pitch away, and then he was on the fastball right there. That ball kind of barely gets out, but it's tough. It's upsetting.
Did that get more of the plate than you wanted it to, or?
Not really. I thought he was reaching for the outside pitches. I thought I might be able to get in there on him, but, he kept his hands in on the ball pretty well and, put a good swing on it.
You've done a lot with your breaking ball to that point, especially with the curve.
Yeah.
You have a good feel with it. What's the difference between going to a fastball there and maybe going back to the curve?
The way he leaned out there and fouled off that fastball away, I thought maybe he's, kind of diving, kind of looking out there, to go out and then foul off a good pitch away. So I thought maybe coming in might have been a good idea. And, if that ball's a little more in, I think it gets him on the hands a little bit. It's a good pitch. It's 3-2. I don't necessarily want to walk him. So, it's a good strike on the inside part of the plate. But, I don't know if he swings at a pitch in off right there or, if he swings at a pitch way off the plate because he's leaning out there. Baseball's tough and hindsight is 20/20. So it's it's a difficult pill to swallow sometimes.
Well, they talk about the resolve of your bunches. You're confident this thing's going to turn at any day. Is that something you as a veteran keep mentioning to guys?
Yeah. We're not playing bad ball. We're a run or two back in most of these games. And, it's a ball falling or, a pitch getting made a little better sometimes, and it's not like we're getting beat real bad. They're close games, which maybe makes it all the more frustrating. But, if all of a sudden you start winning all these games by 1 or 2 runs instead of losing them by 1 or 2 runs, there are games that can go either way. We get a home run late, we get some guys on base. We hit into some, unfortunate double plays. Then we finish a game with a, hard hit ball to the track. It's a game of inches. You catch a ball a little bit better, a little bit cleaner. Maybe it's 2 home runs. Maybe it's a tie game. Maybe, ball that hits off a glove, or, maybe I make a pitch that's just a little bit better. It's a game of inches, and it seems like sometimes we're just losing by an inch or two. So it's tough. It's frustrating.
Good perspective there from Miles Michaelis on Bally Sports Midwest, and it is frustrating for the Cardinals and their fans right now. They're 8-13, 5 games under 500, 7 games out of first in the National League Central. Milwaukee's off to a blazing start right now at 15-6. The Pirates are 15-7, for goodness sake. So we'll see how things start to make their way back to normal, and if the Cardinals can go on a run. But for right now, as we sit on April 23rd, it's been a tough start to the year. We'll talk to John Mozeliak about it on the way at 11:30. They are going to be moving to the ballpark here, so we're actually going to call John Mozeliak in this next break and make sure, because I'm not going to interview him if he's on the team bus. I mean, that's not how it works. If he's sitting on the bus with the players around him, that's not the place for him to be doing a live interview. So I will respect that. That's me talking, not him. So, but I want to talk to John Mozeliak here. We'll reach out to him in the break and see if he's okay to do this 11:30 interview. At any rate, Roman Berkey spoke directly to his teammates, and that happened last night after a loss. It felt like a loss. It ended up as a draw, but the 1-0 lead was lost in the final moments on this.
For the draw tonight, they tap it through. Barrios for Colorado. He fires a shot past Berkey near post. And City and Colorado, they are tied. The ball played out of the middle. That leaked through the box on the right-hand side. Barrio went near post. And for once tonight, Berkey beaten. It's 1-1, stoppage time, second half.
Yeah, they went right through the City team, and Berkey rightfully was upset about that. He made 12 saves, 3 shy of the MLS record last night in a 1-1 draw against Colorado. Here's a little bit more of Berkey.
Tom, we'll go back to you if you've got another one.
Did you guys feel fortunate at halftime that it was still 0-0?
Yeah, we were. We had no chance. We had no chance in the first half. They had like multiple chances. It looked like they were number 1 in the league, and we were like we are somewhere else, and it was completely the opposite. And that's not what we are standing for. We played a really good game against Cincinnati 7 days ago, and now we showed this performance on the field. That's something we have to talk about.
Berkey not very happy. He will be talking to his teammates. So you can be assured of that. The captain speaking out very loudly and clearly following the game last night. We'll talk to Lutz Pfannenstiel, the sporting director, about it in 2 minutes. Sports on a Sunday morning, right here on KMOX.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
There's a notion that powerful corporations hire only the best and brightest lawyers. And it's true. At Underlaw, we've taken on some of the world's largest corporations. We've sat across the table and won. That's why when you're hurt, not just any lawyer will do. Together with our brave clients, we're holding these companies accountable. I'm Jim Onder. At Underlaw, we're making a difference, one case at a time.
Call Onderlaw Personal Injury Lawyers at 314 or 618-90000. That's 9 all zeros.
RENNER, forward and back. Hey, it's the Cardinal Cowboy. Excited to share with you about Renner Garage Door. Spells the same thing, forward and backward. RENNER. Formerly the St. Louis Door Company, Renner's been selling, servicing, and installing garage doors in St. Louis since 1966. So if you need to repair or replace your garage door or opener, Renner does that. So call Renner or check out their special deals at RennerDoorSTL.com. Renner, the garage door company that does. Giddy up!
Our oceans are home to most of the life on Earth, but today, plastic pollution is killing our oceans. 33 billion pounds of plastic enter the oceans every year. That's roughly equivalent to dumping 2 garbage trucks full of plastic into the oceans every minute. But you can help. Oceana is campaigning to stop plastic pollution at the source by calling on companies to reduce their plastic waste and offer plastic-free and reusable alternatives. Take action today at oceana.org/join.
Hi, I'm Amy Mark Scores, and I've been wearing contacts since I was 12 years old. So eye care is a big deal. That's why I see the doctors at Ophthalmology Associates. Doctors Birdie, Malhotra, Brusati, and Royer. Give them a call at 314-966 5000. Dr. Birdie and Dr. Malhotra are cornea surgeons, and they're experts in the diagnosis and treatment of many diseases of the eye, like dry eye, allergy eyes, cataracts, glaucoma, and they're experts in LASIK surgery. Maybe you're experiencing dry eye. We stare at our screens. We don't blink as often. That can lead to your eyes feeling scratchy and achy at night. It could be something as simple as the screen or allergies, or maybe it's something more. The doctors at Ophthalmology Associates take the time to talk to you. Visit them today at youridoc.com or 314-966-5000, 314-966-5000.
If you need a new garage door, this could be your lucky day. Entries are now open for the $2,500 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. A winner will be chosen at random to receive $2,500 towards a new garage door and opener of their choice. You can't win if you don't play. Deadline to enter is April 30th. Enter at overheaddoorstlouis.com. That's overheaddoorstlouis.com. Good luck. Maybe we'll see you at our next installation.
At St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, we're fighting against childhood cancer every day. At the heart of this battle are our donors.
Most of us want to make some type of difference in the lives of others. St. Jude does miraculous work.
The fact that no one has to pay, it's a place where everyone is treated as an equal. Everybody is welcome here. And it doesn't matter your religion or what part of the world you're from, all that is taken away. It just gives you some hope.
It's just a nice feeling to put your energy into something that really does genuinely make a difference in a child's life.
There's just no greater gift. If we have the ability to help, then we have a responsibility to help.
Finding cures, saving children. St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Find out how you can help at stjude.org.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Welcome back to the show. Great to have Lutz Pfannenstiel, the sporting director of St. Louis City SC, with us this morning. Good morning, Lutz.
Good morning, Tom. How are you?
I'm doing well. Always great to talk to you. 2 matches this week at City Park. Let me start with that. You have one on Tuesday. I want to make sure that people are fully aware of this fact. You have Saturday against the Portland Timbers, but on Tuesday, you'll be taking on Union Omaha. It's the U.S. Open Cup 3rd round. And before we talk about last night's match in Colorado, can you explain how this is set up when it comes to St. Louis and Omaha?
Yeah, Open Cup, obviously completely different competition. You see lots of smaller teams actually doing well in that Open Cup. And Omaha, for example, last year, they eliminated some of the MLS teams, like, for example, Chicago Fire. So we are definitely warned what they are capable of from last season's Cup run they had. But at the end of the day, it's a game at home in our stadium against a team from the 3rd tier. So it's definitely for us, don't underestimate them, but we also have to be aware we are the underdog. This time we are the big favorite.
That's right. St. Louis City SC. It's a 7:00 start on Tuesday, the U.S. Open Cup 3rd round against Union Omaha. And tickets are available for this. So I'd highly suggest that if you have not been inside the stadium, which is world class, and you want to see this incredible venue and see the team, by the way, Tuesday is your night. I don't know that you'd have a better opportunity to get in there than against that Union Omaha team on Tuesday. Now, I wonder how quickly your players are going to want to get back on the pitch. I would imagine they're going to want to get back on there fairly quickly. And I know that it's their health considerations and everything, but you played a game Saturday night that I'm certain you wish you could have back.
Yeah, it was. I'm still actually sitting here now with a cup of coffee, and it's mixed emotions. On the one hand, you don't go to Colorado. It's a difficult place to go to. LAFC played there a few weeks ago. They only got a draw as well. So it's one of these places where it's in general difficult to win. And somehow we had it, being 1-0 up for that long after escaping in the first half, after not doing well with lots of chances for the opponent. And then somehow you're getting that very late goal, and it makes it feel, at least in the first few moments, it makes it feel like a loss. On the other hand, getting a draw away to Colorado is, well, it's quite a good result for us, considering especially the run of play in the first half. But again, I'm not too sure where right now how I should think of it.
Yeah, I'm with you, because it is a point, and you have to feel fortunate. And again, the fact that Roman Berkey did what he did. Do you like the fact that he stepped out and was critical of his teammates without going over the top, but very direct in his post-game press conference as the captain addressed things, Lutz?
Yeah, I mean, he's a senior player, he's the captain, and obviously yesterday without him, it's a very clear, and we don't have to beat around the bush. We would have not got that point because he had an amazing individual performance yesterday. And being myself a goalkeeper for many, many years in professional level, and knowing that it somehow was that feeling, Tom, you got that today, whatever Colorado will do, he will save it. And then, it takes till the 92nd, 93rd minute till you get beaten finally by a ball which we did not really defend very well. I could imagine exactly what went through his head, because he really would have deserved that clean sheet yesterday for his own good, because it was amazing. He did literally everything right. He stood on his head. He made the impossible save. And yeah, I do understand that he was a little bit disappointed or annoyed or emotional, like he said. But again, the things he said, we didn't. Well, he's actually just said the right thing. We did not do defensively as well as we are used to. We normally don't give away that many chances. You saw in the last games. I remember your colleague Tom Zimmerman wrote that there was Roman Berkey didn't have to make one save in the game, but conceded a goal, which was a penalty against Minnesota, which was also true. So we didn't give that many chances away. And yesterday we just gave away an unbelievable number of shots, of balls in the box, and that was just too much. On the other hand, it just shows me that investing in a player like Roman Berkey, giving him that role, bringing him, for me, and not just about yesterday, was from the first moment he came here, having the best goalkeeper in the league. It will help us a lot to create that stability. And a good goalkeeper saves you a few points in the season. And yesterday was a prime example for that. That point definitely was a big part of Roman Berkey.
No question. I would imagine also that this is probably a great time to have Tim Parker on your team. If there's anybody who would straighten things up, it would be Tim as well. Both probably looking deep inside himself, but also conveying that message to his teammates.
Yeah, I think obviously Tim. He knows the league. He speaks up. He has a clear opinion. He leads the people by action, but also by word. It's a different kind of personality than Roman. Roman is more very direct, short and sharp, while Tim is a guy which really goes under your skin and motivates players, talks to players a little bit more. So it's a very good duo, them two together. And as Roman said yesterday, I think the back four did all right. It was not. When we're talking about defense in football, it's not just about the goalkeeper and the back four. I think it was more that we did not do that well against the ball when Colorado had the ball. So we were not as well organized in the center, and that gave opportunities for Colorado always to come directly at the back four, and then it's difficult to do defend that. So it was more like a defensive team effort where we need to do better, and I think Bradley spoke very clearly after that, to the players as well. So that's something everybody knows and everybody was aware of. And in the end of the day, tomorrow, Monday morning, nobody will talk anymore about how many chances we gave away or that we didn't do that well. In the end, we got a 1-1 draw against one of the best home teams over the last years at a place where I think you probably could see that if you watched it on TV the last 10, 15 minutes. The altitude also, it did not really help us. It helped a little bit more them. So they are used to that very, very thin air, and we looked a little bit gassed, but that was normal considering the way the game was played, but also at the altitude. And I'm normally a guy who likes to look at the positive things, and the positive things is each match day 9. Everybody thought we are a terrible team, and we're still number 1 in the Western Conference. So I think we can live at that point.
Yeah. Yes, you can. You have 19 points. You're number 1 in the West. You do get a point, and Berkey, as tough as it is to end up in a draw, was spectacular. There's no question about that. Klaus, how is he doing? I know that you pulled him out, or Bradley pulled him out as a precaution. Was it his quad?
Yeah, he had pains in his. It's more like a muscular problem. We hope it's nothing structural. He has his MRI testing today, and we will know definitely later today what grade this injury is. It's hard to say right now. We always hope for the best, the transfer list is closing tomorrow as well, so it's not the best timing for one of our top strikers or our DP striker to get off with an injury. But let's just wait and see what the medical team comes up with. What exactly is the situation there before we can talk about that one.
I told you that you would have some fans show up in Colorado. Did you see them? So there were some City fans in Denver.
Oh, there was a lot of City fans. You told me there will be around 150. I think it was much more. It's not just that we saw them; we also heard them. There was a lot of STL chants in the round, and I thought actually part of the game that we played at home, so that was a great support. You saw the City Reds sticking out, and it's not like in Europe where you're going on a bus or on a train, and within 1.5 hours you're in the city and you watch your team play. It's a big effort. All the people really took there to come to Colorado, to come to Denver and support us.
Yeah, it's impressive. And after the game against Cincinnati, with that long delay and that unbelievable turnout of fans after all of that, now they get 2 matches to enjoy this week, Tuesday and Saturday, against Omaha and Portland, respectively. Thank you very much for the visit, as always, and we will catch up with you real soon.
Thanks so much.
Lutz Pfannenstiel, sporting director for St. Louis City SC, right here on KMOX. The games are right here on KMOX and our sister station Y98 FM right down the hall is the flagship. So we will have all of the coverage. They have the play-by-play. Joey Zanaboni, Dale Schilly. In fact, they're going to join me on back-to-back days, Tuesday, Wednesday. Joey Zanaboni will be with me at 8:15 on Total Information AM. Dale Schilly will join me, as he always does, on Wednesday at 8:15 to discuss this U.S. Open Cup match against Omaha. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, the man who joins us every Sunday at 11:30, John Mozeliak, will be with us. Now, again, he is in transit to the ballpark, so we'll hopefully be able to get him in short order, but I have talked to him. He's ready to go. He's next on KMOX.
KMOX Enter Service Weekend, sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation.
Did you know that how happy you are could be related to how well you hear? According to the Better Health Institute, research shows that unaddressed hearing loss is associated with depression. Studies also show that people with hearing loss who use hearing aids often have fewer depressive symptoms, they have greater social engagement, and have improved quality of life. Therefore, having your hearing tested by an experienced audiologist is extremely important. Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. I recommend you contact Dr. Colleen Bosler at the Audiology Center. Dr. Bosler is very approachable. She has a doctorate in audiology from the University of Illinois Champaign-Urbana. She carries the best performing hearing aids, and Dr. Bosler is an expert on the latest technology. Make an appointment today at one of Dr. Colleen Bosler's 3 St. Louis area offices, 636-441-7470, the Audiology Center, STL.com.
Hey guys, Glover here from my friends Mark and Neil Gelman from thegelmanteam.com. If you need to sell your home to buy a new one, it's never been more important to have an experienced negotiator that you can trust. You need my friends Mark and Neil Gelman on your side fighting for every last dollar. Go to thegelmanteam.com.
Celebrate 10 extraordinary St. Louis area women for their outstanding volunteer service and leadership at the 2023 Women of Achievement Luncheon at the Ritz-Carlton St. Louis. From volunteer leaders in human welfare and arts and education to multicultural advocacy and humanitarian concerns. Legends. Come celebrate the 2023 Women of Achievement on Tuesday, May 9th at the Ritz-Carlton St. Louis. Doors open at 11:15 a.m. Reservations at WOASTL.org. Presenting sponsors are KMOX Radio, St. Louis Post-Dispatch, and Ladue News. For more information, visit WOASTL.org.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing. Together, millions of things for our planet. Switch to eco-friendly cleaning products and spend more time outside to make every day Earth Day. When we each share our one thing, it becomes a million things for our planet. What's your one thing?
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
11:31. It's time to talk things over with John Mozeliak, Cardinals president of baseball operations, joins us live on KMOX. We appreciate this. I know it's a busy day on a game day in Seattle.
Yeah, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's not ideal to be 8-13 out of the gate, but then again, it is, as you always tell us, a very long baseball season. All of these games count the same, though. Just give us an overview of what you've seen over the last few days, especially these last two in Seattle.
Yeah, I think it's a lot like, sort of that classic situation when things aren't going your way and you're having some hard luck. But, ultimately you got to make your luck. And, you, from a pitching standpoint, you've got to be able to make the pitches you need to make. From an offensive standpoint, you've got to have key and timely hits. And, right now we're just not finding that right combination for success. And, I still believe in this club. I still think it's a very talented club, but, from a fan standpoint and from an observer standpoint, I can understand there's, a level of frustration because, we're used to seeing this, our team not lose. And, historically on a consistent basis, we find ways to win. And, right now, when we talk about luck or bad luck or just not having things go our way, we're definitely right now on that treadmill where it's kind of taking us to a place we don't want to be, but it's not for the lack of effort. It's not for us not trying. And so, I think over the next few days, Holly will try to do whatever he can to shake things up a little bit. But, in the end, it's baseball, so you play 162 and you just kind of work through these things.
Definitely. And Ollie was with us last hour, and I thought, really good about going through some numbers with us. So we asked him about, one, is he reinforced that the ground ball rate is still very good for this pitching staff. Also, that from a hitting standpoint, the barreling, the hard contact, those numbers are also still very good. It's just a matter of over the long haul, those results starting to work themselves out. You run the analytics as well as anybody, so you can see what we're seeing.
Yeah, and I do think, historically, if you believe in that, and we do, that over time things will work out. What happens though with any season, you're kind of you're only as good as your last at bat, so to speak, right? Yeah. And so you feel like, okay, we've lost two tough games in Seattle. We're coming off a couple series losses. We're just not doing kind of normal Cardinal things yet, and that's fair. And that's one of those things where you just ask for people to be a little patient. And in the end, if you continue to do the things we're doing, it should translate into wins over time.
Wanted to ask you a couple of business things that are happening. One, that my understanding is that Paul DeYoung's ready to roll, that he's good to go today and back with your club.
Correct. Yep. Sitting behind me on the bus. So yeah, he joined the club yesterday. In terms of travel, didn't get in till last night in Seattle, but obviously we were counting on him this spring. Had some lower back issues early on, and obviously I think had a very successful rehab at Memphis, and I think just adds another element to our club. But clearly when you're looking for some sort of spark or something different, hopefully he can add that for us.
See, how great is John? He's joining us on the bus. I told you. I mean, this is much appreciated, and to be able to do this as you're traveling. Let me ask you a couple of other housekeeping things. in terms of AAA, the elevation of Michael McGreevy to join Gordon Graceffo and others in a very, very good Memphis team. Tell me about McGreevy moving up, your first-round pick in 21.
Well, one, it was definitely a compliment of how he was throwing the ball at AA, but it also was because they needed a starter because Dakota Hudson went down, still dealing with some upper back or lower neck issues, trying to work through that. Fingers crossed he can do that. Ultimately McGreevy, though, was doing what he does. He's kind of a strange guy in the sense of like he does strike out hitters, but then he also does give up hits. So it's sort of one of those things, like usually if you have a high swing and miss, then you tend to not give up hits. But, it'll be interesting to see how he does it at AAA. It'll be a test for him, but, he's really a competitor. He understands what he's good at, and I clearly happy with this promotion and, think he deserved it.
Yeah, he's got an upbeat attitude for sure. He's got some good stuff. I mentioned Graceffo, Matthew Liberatore. He's been going pretty well, hasn't he? And you got that Memphis team's been rolling here. They've won 12 in a row.
Yeah, I don't even really want to talk about that. It's been, look, when we broke camp, there were a lot of guys that we felt could have been with our big club. So I think you and I even touched on that when we were down in Jupiter. So not overly surprised, but anytime you win 12 straight, you got a lot going well for you. And they're doing it in a lot of different ways, but their timely hitting is real. And, from a starting pitching standpoint, that's been getting them deep into games, and their bullpen's legit. We saw glimpses of some of those guys down in Jupiter because of the WBC. I don't think we got, maybe the long look we wanted to with some of them, but, that Zaninga guy is legit. And, I watched last night, I saw that Palante was like, 97 and 99. And, that's what we were hoping we'd see here. So, I think these are like really encouraging things, what's going on down there. And you're doing it in a way where it is a pretty young team. So it's not like just loaded with a bunch of secure free agents. So that's pretty exciting news for the Cardinals.
Yeah, there's a lot of depth. There's no doubt in the big club and in the minor league system. And then, of course, the Seattle game is upcoming here at 3:10. I want to get you back on the road and focused on that with your club, but I appreciate these moments very much. Thank you for doing it, and best of luck today against the Mariners.
All right. Thank you, Tommy.
Thank you. John Mozeliak joining us for a few minutes from the team bus. See, that's cool. That's dedication there from the president of baseball operations. We'll take a quick break. We're going to come back and dive into all things sports and kind of do a little runaround of what's happening. The Battlehawks and what they are facing today. We'll circle back to St. Louis City SC and hear from Coach Bradley Carnell. We'll touch on the Cardinals a little bit more, but we also have a big NASCAR race today. We have golf in full swing. We have NHL playoffs. We have NBA playoffs. We have a lot to sort out. We're going to do it right here, Sports on a Sunday Morning, sponsored by Gray Bar. Back after this.
This is the year. This is your year. Don't you deserve to spend this beautiful spring, summer, fall season enjoying your outdoor space? Where you walk out the back door into your beautiful sunroom or screen room and then out onto the deck, down the stairs to your beautiful patio covered with a pergola, maybe a built-in barbecue grill with a fireplace or a pizza oven, or who knows what you're imagining is your perfect outdoor space. But you deserve it. And Chesterfield Fence and Deck can make it happen. Chesterfield Fence and Deck. They are truly one of the best. They've been around for 55 years, a third-generation family-owned company with a great reputation. So when you plunk down the money for this great project, you know it's quality and that it's going to last for years, and they stand behind everything they do. And if you mention me, Debbie Monterey, they'll offer you 48 months interest-free financing. That should certainly help you. It's ChesterfieldFence.com. Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign you have the very best.
The Midwest money slogan, isn't cash in the bank better than scrap in the drawer? This is Johnny Rabbit. Midwest Money, the oldest coin shop in St. Louis. Buying, selling, and trading since 1971. Silver and gold, coins, sterling silver, flags, medals, daggers, and more. Not sure what you have? Bring your collectibles to someone you can trust. Midwest Money at the corner of Hampton and Holly Hills. You'll be happy you did.
Broadcasting from the Underlying Three Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX. When you're an innovative business, every blinking cursor, every blank page is an opportunity. What will you do with it? Will you make something better or create something new? Our Dell Technologies advisors provide you with tools and expertise to do incredible things. Because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. For advice on smart PCs powered by Intel V Pro that's built for business, call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you know that these days, generating growth is a challenge. By teaming with Bank of America, you'll not just stay ahead of the curve, you'll move it. With access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2023 Bank of America, N.A.
Hello Garage elevates your garage, adding additional entertainment space for graduation parties or other summer get-togethers you have planned. In as little as 48 hours, get organized and start planning that party. Visit them online at hellogarage.com.
Teammates thought future Hall of Famer Jerry Kelly was nuts hanging up his glove to start a heating and air company, till they called...
Thanks for calling, Jerry Kelly, the right man for the job.
And reached 10-year-old Jill Kelly wearing jammies in the kitchen. Jerry knows talent, they'd say, and knows it don't mean nothing without love. From Jill to today's award-winning teams, Jerry knew talent multiplied by real love and hard work, that's a grand slam.
Thanks for calling, Jerry Kelly.
Hi, it's Scott and Andrea from Best Buy Flooring. Andrea, what are you doing on that pogo stick?
Scott, I'm springing into savings at Best Buy Flooring.
Right, because we have new spring deals on carpet, luxury vinyl, ceramic tile, carpet tile, laminate, sheet vinyl, and hardwood.
Don't forget free financing for qualified purchasers.
2 locations, 7301 North Lindbergh in Hazelwood, Missouri, and 1851 West US Highway 50 in O'Fallon, Illinois. Open 7 days a week. Best flooring, best selection, Best Buy Flooring.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
All right, welcome back. Celebrate 10 extraordinary St. Louis area women for their outstanding volunteer service and leadership at the 2023 Women of Achievement Luncheon at the Ritz-Carlton St. Louis, Tuesday, May 9th. Doors open at 11:15 a.m. Learn more about this year's honorees and make luncheon reservations at WOASTL.org. John Mozeliak, really good to join us on the bus. He's, I think, in a situation there where he's surrounded by players and he's going to speak as best he can about the situation. And I thought the one thing that he said was very interesting, where he said that Ollie might change some things up here in the next few days. So I wonder what that means, but we'll continue to watch that closely and see what that ends up being. But the manager was really good with us last hour. I can't imagine that they're going to do too much, except maybe an adjustment here or there, because if you do the same thing over and over and it's not working, you want to change it up a little bit. But I wouldn't expect anything drastic from this Cardinals team. I heard a national radio show coming in today that John Mozeliak is on the clock to make a deal. I mean, it is April 23rd. It would be way out of character for the Cardinals to start swinging deals for pitchers when they don't have any injuries right now. I mean, they just got to get these 5 pitchers going. Now, Adam Wainwright is going to join this team eventually. He still has another rehab start ahead of him. Once that happens, he could be there. You do have some reinforcements down in Memphis that we just talked about. Matthew Liberatore is one. And, you know, I'd keep an eye on that. I think that he could come up and perhaps start at some point for you if he continues to pitch well. But mostly you're looking at these 5 plus Adam. And that's really where they are. That's where they're going to be for the foreseeable future. We have Memphis, and they've won 12 in a row, and that's because they have really good players. And that's just the bottom line. They're going to continue to build things there, and eventually you're going to see some of these players as reinforcements. But as you get closer to that trade deadline now, at the end of July, the Cardinals, outside of Walker, Gorman, Graceffo, Hence, I mean, I could probably throw a few others in there that are untouchable. They're not going to trade any of those guys. They have a plethora of young players that could be packaged for a pitcher or anything else that you need if they want. And the Cardinals have the ability to make almost any kind of a deal they want. They don't want to trade any of those big dogs that were, by the way, everybody was asking for last year, and they still were able to get Quintana and Montgomery for reasonable deals. We'll look forward and see what's next for this Cardinals club, but there are good players all over the place right now in Major League Baseball that have former Cardinal attached to them. So either they didn't have room for them in the starting lineup, or they didn't give them the opportunity, or they jumped on, like in the case of the Ozuna trade, a desperate way to add some offense, and they ended up dealing prospects. Whatever the case may be, the Cardinals have some deals that went off extremely well, like Arenado and Goldschmidt, and some deals that they wish they could take those players back. But the ship has sailed, and the Cardinals continue to crank out this unbelievable organization filled with prospects that they can use as movable assets or use to elevate their franchise for years to come. This is how they want to be. They want to be a team that is going to be a contender for year after year after year. And also, if the need arises, they can swing a deal and pull it off. So we'll see how that all goes. Meantime, you've got St. Louis City SC. I want to go back to Roman Berkey. I thought he was exceptional yesterday in his comments. In case you did not hear the beginning, Roman Berkey was very straightforward about how he felt. This is Tom Timmerman of the Post-Dispatch.
All right, guys, we got Captain Roman Berkey here.
The first question.
We'll go with Tom. Start us off.
Roman, what does this result feel like? You have a game like that, 12 saves. They were seen to be coming at you all night, and to get a tie, but you almost got a win. So how does this one feel?
Yeah, me personally, I always want to win. I feel empty, a little bit disappointed, because I think this team is not as good as we made them, Colorado. I think we missed a lot today when it comes with the ball and against the ball. And I mean, if you're up 1-0, you just have to fight for the win. You have to go all in, and you have to fight, you have to defend. And today, not everybody was defending or not together. And that's the result, and that's why I'm a little bit disappointed.
That's Roman Berkey, the Cardinals City goaltender, who is one of the best goalkeepers, if not the best in the league. He's certainly the highest paid, and he is a special talent, not only on the pitch, but right there. That's exactly what you want your captain to say. You make everybody well aware this is not up to standard. Be better. And that's exactly what he did, as they ended up with a point. They are very, very fortunate that he's their goalkeeper and that they were able to get that point. Taking a look at the NHL playoffs, the Blues' former captain, Ryan O'Reilly, is at it again. He had a victory yesterday, 4-3 over the Lightning. This game went into overtime, and the Leafs went down to Tampa Bay, St. Petersburg, and they won that game by a final of 4-3. It was a win, but Morgan Riley was the one who scored at 19:15 of overtime for the Leafs. They rallied for a 4-3 win against the Lightning in Game 3 of the Eastern Conference first round. A great win for Toronto, who is in this long drought of not winning a Stanley Cup. They have a massive fan base, and they have O'Reilly on this team now. And O'Reilly was great yesterday. He actually had a Gordie Howe hat trick. He had a goal and an assist and got into a scrap. It's a win for Toronto. They are up 2-1 in that series. Elsewhere, you've got Boston facing Florida today. We'll see what happens in that Eastern Conference matchup. You have the Devils cutting the Rangers' lead to 2-1 as they won in overtime yesterday. You've got it's just some really good matchups in this one. Vegas leads Winnipeg after winning yesterday. They're up 2-1 in that series. The Wild leads Dallas 2-1 in that series. Colorado's up 2-1 on Seattle. Devils up 2-1 on the Rangers. Carolina's up 2-1 on the Islanders. Toronto's up 2-1 on the Lightning, and Boston's up 2-1 on Florida. They're all 2-1. Edmonton leads the Kings 2-1. So, I mean, that's pretty fun. I hate the fact that the Blues aren't in it, but if you do like the NHL playoffs, it has been pretty entertaining from that standpoint. The NBA, I am a fan of the NBA playoffs. During the regular season, my concentration goes heavily onto college basketball, but I do appreciate and respect the play of the NBA, and these are the best players in the world, and LeBron James is still doing it. You can feel however you want to feel about LeBron James, but he has taken a beating throughout his career, and he still puts up numbers. He had 25 points after Dylan Brooks was ejected for striking him in the groin. And the Lakers survived a 24-point fourth quarter from Ja Morant. I mean, LeBron James is how much older than Morant? Like almost 20 years older than him. And they're still able to win this game. They beat them 111-101. They have a 2-1 lead in their first-round playoff series. LeBron James got hit in the groin by Dylan Brooks. They tossed him out of the game. Morant, by the way, scored 45 points in his return from a one-game absence with a sore right hand. The Murray State superstar, when you see Ja Morant play, he is breathtaking, the way that he flies through the air and gets things done. He scored 22 consecutive points during the fourth quarter as Memphis was trying to rally from an early 29-point deficit, but they lost by 10. I personally am a New York Knicks fan, and they're about to tip off in 8 minutes. Why am I a Knicks fan? Because we don't have an NBA team here in St. Louis, although I'd like one. I would love one, actually. I don't know that that's even possible unless we get the corporate support. Right now, the focus is on baseball, hockey, and city, as well as the St. Louis Battlehawks of the XFL. But most of the corporate dollars go to those prior three. And if they're going to have another tenant inside Enterprise Center, they would have to fill all suites with corporate partners, and that is easier said than done. But I do think there would be interest in an NBA team here, and I think it would do very, very well. I'm not sure that the league is interested in coming here, but I do know the best player playing right now in the league, I think, is Jason Tatum, and he is a St. Louisan, and I think he ultimately, when his playing career comes to an end, may have some interest in that very subject. Would a St. Louis team belong here in the NBA? Boston plays tonight at 6 o'clock against Atlanta, who dropped 130 points on them in the last game. 130 on Boston on Friday night. They'll play them tonight at 6. Golden State salvaged a game and is now down 2-1 to Sacramento. The defending champions will tip off at 2:30 against the Kings. The late game tonight, Denver's up 3-0 on Minnesota. Denver Nuggets have never won a title, and that would be kind of fun to see how they could pull it off. But again, as I mentioned, I'm a Knicks fan, and I'm going Knicks. They play at the Garden. They're up 2-1 in their series against Cleveland, and that one tips off at noon today. NASCAR, that is happening today. Talladega, it'll start at about 2:30 today as NASCAR gets rolling, and they will be rolling in St. Louis on June 4th at Worldwide Technology Raceway. So continue to keep an eye on that as we host in St. Louis our second Cup Series. In Avondale, Louisiana, Wyndham Clark and Beau Hossler shot a 10 under 62 in better ball play. They have a one-shot lead through 3 rounds at the Zurich Classic. It's kind of a fun tournament where they team up together. Clark and Hossler have finished each of the first 3 rounds atop the leaderboard on the strength of steady and mistake-free play. They birdied 10 holes in the third round to put them at 26 under, a stroke ahead of Sung Jae Im and Keith Mitchell. Clark with 2 birdie putts from beyond 20 feet, a 26-footer on the par 4 12th and a 21-footer on the par 3 third. Clark is 29 years old, Hossler's 28, and neither of them have a PGA Tour victory. But they are in contention to win the Zurich Classic down in Louisiana. I find that pretty cool that they got together. I also like the interview that Amanda Renner did with Matt and Alex Fitzpatrick. They are brothers, and they posted their second 10-under round in 3 days. Both came in the better ball format, which theoretically would have allowed the more accomplished Matt Fitzpatrick, the defending U.S. Open champion, winner of the RBC Heritage last week, to carry the team. But in better ball rounds, Alex has had many or more birdies. That's been kind of fun to watch as well. There's just so much going on in sports right now, all over the place. To circle back to the Cardinals, here's what we have learned today. The Cardinals will have Paul DeJong joining them. John Mozeliak, sitting next to Paulie D on the team bus on the way to Seattle, told us that they do hope to get Paul in there and perhaps provide a spark to this team. And really, honestly, this is a spark. This is me speaking now. This is a spark to Paulie D's career, which this is his final year under contract with the Cardinals. He told me during the winter warm-up he doesn't want to go anywhere else. He wants to be in St. Louis. He wants to be part of this organization. Can he find it one more time? I don't know that there's a player right now on this roster that gets criticized more than Paul DeJong, and all he's done is try to work his way back. He's not a bad person. The Cardinals, of course, gave him a big contract, and that will work against you. You've got to be able to live up to that in the eyes of observers, and he has not been able to do that. You have to go back to 2019 when he hit 30 bombs and he was an all-star and hit that big home run at Wrigley against the Cubs to help win the division. That's 4 years ago now. I mean, he's got to be better, and he's got to find a way to fight his way into position to be an effective part of this organization, up the middle infield, but most importantly, at the plate. I think we know what he is defensively. He's good. He's better than good. But offensively, he's got to make an impact when he's in there, and we'll see that he can. It's 11:57. The news is next.
Did you know the IRS is a super creditor? Hi, I'm Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. The IRS is the only creditor that can create a bill for you